and make sure we get this thing done as planned. So, but the point you made on carbon credit, I find it quite interesting. I don't know if it's something that it's worth considering though, but there are other school of thought, there are other experts who say that because of the motion we had to go through as a country in the determination of the NDCs, the nationally determined contributions, there are protocols that are established for the usage of the carbon credit fund. However, it's for us to decide as a House and communicate same to the executive. We are the controllers of the country's purse. If it is so decide, we so decide that in the interest of us and the interest of the representatives of the people, funding from the carbon trade should be rededicated to the welfare of members. Some portion of it should be rededicated. I think it's a welcome news and it's something we have to look at. Speaker, having said this, I know there was a proposal for the formation of some member committee. I don't know what the pleasure of the majority leader is, if it is about 6. So we will know, should we be, if it's 6, 2, 4, that's fine. I don't know what the criteria is, but I want to humbly suggest that on matters such as this, it's so fundamental that the whip should be packed. That's how I say it. I think the whip should be packed.
It's obvious. We are now going to form, and there's no way we can leave the whips.
I'm just suggesting. It's for the House to decide. So if it is 8, we'll think through. I don't know if the committee can be formed today. Leader, I don't know if you want it done now. If you want it done now, I may have to consult my colleagues and quickly we can do that. Yes. Speaker, so I thank you for the opportunity and I'm grateful. Once again, let me commend the majority leader for the show of leadership. Thank you, Speaker.
Very well. Yes. Majority.
Speaker,
Speak.
Let me commend my leader for such a major policy statement. Indeed, it will lead to legislation, because when we back this with legislation, then we'll be properly guided in how the fund can be assessed when one's opportunity comes to benefit from it. Mr. Speaker, even the United Kingdom that we borrow nearly everything from, they only began in 1987. And with what they call the Parliamentary Contributory Pension Fund. And after the 2010 Constitutional Reform and Governance Reform Act was passed, they then brought what they called the Parliamentary and Other Pensions Act, Constitutional Reform and other regulations, and made it effective in October of 2011. So that is the regulation that governs the pension fund affecting their MPs, both the lower house and the upper house. Mr. Speaker, in Kenya, interestingly, Kenya began it before the UK. Kenya actually passed the first legislation sometime in 1983, and assent was given to the law in 1983, and the law became effective in July 1984. They subsequently, in 2012 and 2020, brought amendment to that legislation, and as recently as August last year, in 2024, they passed the amendment to bring some improvement to the law, so that, for instance, the office that handles the processing of the pension won't do so more than 60 days. They have only 60 days to process benefits when they are due. That's what the legislation, because one of the problems they were having was that when members are entitled, it took so long for the benefits to be processed. So the amendment was effected to the law to limit it to less than 60 days. Then, Mr. Speaker, you want to look at Tanzania. And Tanzania has a similar legislation in what they called the Political Service Retirement Benefits Act 2020 Cap 225. That legislation also mandates the Tanzanian government to pay benefits to MPs especially and other political office holders when they serve a minimum term of 6 years in office. Mr. Speaker, I scan other countries, and Canada also has a similar legislation. Mr. Speaker, under the Canadian regime, they are what they call MPs Retiring Allowance Act 1985. And under that legislation, any MP who served in the Canadian Parliament for 6 years or more is entitled to benefit from that fund. And what the law also does in Canada is that you can actually take an early benefit under the fund, especially when you are 55 years or more, and you have served 6 years or more in the Canadian Parliament. So these are pieces of legislations that can guide the committee that will be mandated to handle this matter and bring the report. Mr. Speaker, so with these words, I'm empowered by my leader to propose the following names to constitute the committee. The Honorable Collins Dauda, of course, will be a member. Yes. The Honorable Samson Ahi will also be a member. Then we are including 2 first-timers from our side, also gender balance. So the Honorable Ataisa, the member for Sanarigu, will also be a member. Then our sister, the Honorable Millicent Yabua Amankwa, will also be a member. Then the Honorable Suhini will also be a member. Then from our side, from the minority side, will be constituted by, of course, the Chief Whip, the Honorable Stephen Amwa, as well as Dr. Kabiru, my brother. So Honorable Frimpong, what's the membership? No, you have 3. Four. Okay. Then also Honorable Frimpong Ado Frimpong will also be a member. So, Mr. Speaker, if we have your blessing, these are the proposed members of the committee, and because we are also to not leave out our former MPs, we are considering maybe appointing a former member of Parliament to serve as a consultant in some way, so that the views and interests of members who have who agree. Yes, Honorable Kuto. Two former members. We'll review. Okay. So, Mr. Speaker, once we agree on how many former MPs will include, will advise the name so that this committee will be properly constituted to immediately move to deal with that matter. Mr. Speaker, with these words, I thank you for the opportunity. And once again, Leader, thank you for bringing this matter to the House.
Honorable members, I think we will have to thank the Leader of the House to revisit this particular issue. Like Honorable Suhini said, last year, or the 8th Parliament, within one meeting, we paid tribute of, I think, 8 or 9 to our former members. 9 members of our former members of this House, we paid tribute to them just within one meeting. And that actually signaled us to look into our work. Because at times you listen to how they all pass away. Some of them are just basic things that they couldn't afford. And that is why we decided to look into our own welfare and how best we can at least satisfy ourselves when we retire from this chamber. So, Leader, let me thank you personally for revisiting this particular issue. And I think the previous report is there. They can just revisit it and add it to your committee and probably see how best we can quickly address it. I don't know the committee if we have to give them timelines.
Speaker, we want to give them an initial time frame of 60 days. 60 days. And we advise. There's an existing report. So we advise them with their terms of reference.
6 weeks.
And we also,
6 weeks.
Okay, 6 weeks. 6 weeks, 45 days. 45 days. Then we are also proposing that the Honorable Collins Dauda
be the chair.
Be the chairperson of the committee. Yes. So 45 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Speaker.
So,
yes.
Honorable Collins Dauda's committee, we are expecting a report within 90 days. Honorable Collins Dauda's committee.
Yes, it will be called the Collins Dauda Committee.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I seek your indulgence to draw attention to a creeping development that I've noticed in the last 2 days. And if we don't address it, it may fester. My leader is one person that I've admired here. He's always been apt with his dressing, but over the last 2 days, I have seen he's not been properly dressed. Yesterday, he addressed this house dressed the way I am without a necktie on it, and today he's appeared the same way. I took a lot of cue from the way he dresses in this house. There are new members of the house who may follow suit. So I just thought I should draw your attention to that so that you can put it right. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Minority Whip.
Speaker, I thought I had a friend in my honorable member. In fact, we have related so well. This surprise is indeed surprising. However, Speaker, I will encourage my colleague to up his sense of fashion. I will encourage him to up his sense of fashion. Speaker, I am spot on.
Very spot on.
In fact, I have a dependable wife who always directs me in terms of what to wear to this house.
Very, very spot on.
And I have my able lieutenant.
Very, very spot on.
So I can understand him. He has been waiting for too long. The news is not coming.
It is coming.
He should keep to prayer. He should be praying and be fasting. The news will come. And he should take a cue from the Honorable Ahmed. When the Honorable Ahmed name had not been mentioned, he kept to prayer and fasting. And eventually, the Honorable Ahmed's name came out. In fact, I sympathize with him a lot. He has been waiting for too long. And there are no signs. So, you should probably take a cue, and I'm sure for your dedication to this house, all of us are aware of your hard work on the Finance Committee. I'm not sure His Excellency the President will gloss over you, except that you have to keep to prayer and fasting. So I invite you to rule him out.
Honorable Dongo, well noted. Your concerns.
I'm sorry I have to do this. It's not about dress code, dress sense. It's about dress code of the house.
Yes.
It is our dress code.
Your concerns
so
is well
it may
noted.
be nice if you wear it outside and you look funky, but when you come to this house, we have a dress code.
Honorable Dongo.
It's not about fashion.
Honorable Dongo, I'm saying your concerns have been taken notice of. So I mean, we will revisit this particular issue. I don't think we are going there.
Mr. Speaker, we are not going there. I just wanted to draw the attention of the honorable member for Bolga Central that it is not every shirt that you put a tie on.
Honorable member.
It's not every
honorable
shirt
member.
you put a tie on.
Honorable.
So that is look. This is a tunic shirt, and you don't put tie on it. It's not every shirt you put a tie on. And he's properly dressed. The minority whip is properly dressed.
Honorable members, we will discuss this later on, please. So, leadership, any indication? Should we continue with my backbenchers? You are second time.
The chairman of the appointments committee.
Tomorrow.
The chairman of the appointments committee wants to lay some report, the 8th report, and then come back and take.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I intend to lay the 8th report, move the motion for the 8th report, and then come back to move the motion for the 7th report.
Why? Why do you want to move the motion for the 8th report before the 7th report?
Right, Honorable Speaker, a decision was taken and we resort to a negotiation, and that is being changed.
So that's the decision of the appointment committee?
That is so.
Okay, very well.
That is so. So the report for the 7th is being changed. A small correction is being done.
Then kindly give me a copy of the 8th report. I don't have the 8th report. You people don't go. Yes.
Speaker, with your leave and indulgence, just to find out from our respected leader of the House on a matter that was raised on the House floor by the minority side. Such matter relates to some concerns we have with the Auma North election. I think back and forth, the leadership had been charged. Would you listen, please, with all respect? Leadership had been charged to follow up and to apprise members in due course. I know the majority leader has followed up and he has some news because our backyard is curious, very interested in knowing what the outcome is. May I seek your leave for the leader of the House based on earlier engagement we had at Conclave to carry the House along what has been done so far and what is left to be done so that we can all be carried along duly. Speaker, thank you.
Very well. Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have some reports that I will present to you of the situation in relation to Auma North. If you recall, last Friday, we had some unpleasant developments in the chamber, and the issue turned around the question of the declaration of the results of Auma North constituency parliamentary elections. I promised colleagues that I will go into the matter and see what we can do about it. Mr. Speaker, I spent the weekend actually investigating and engaging the various actors. I went to the regional police commander. I spoke to the persons responsible for elections on the side of the NDC, and I tried to reach out to some people at the EC. The issue that was raised in this chamber by our friends on the minority side related to some claim that the court had ordered that the police should go and provide armed protection to the Electoral Commission so that they can recollate the results of Auma North constituency parliamentary elections. I have cited the court order. There is indeed a court order that is supposed to have been executed before or on the 6th.
Sorry, ordinarily I won't do this. The leader just made a statement that the court order was to recollate. No, it was to complete the collation.
Honorable, let's at least once he flows, we will get to know all the.
Mr. Speaker, I will respect it for the record. It's important.
Yeah, so it was to complete the collation of the results of the constituency, and the police reported to me that indeed they went to the constituency, there were issues, so they relocated the coalition exercise to the Regional Electoral Commission office. The process continued, and they collated all the results except the results of 7 polling stations, and they needed the presiding officers to come and authenticate scanned pink sheets that both parties had agreed should be used for the collation exercise. 5 presiding officers turned up. They confirmed that the scanned pink sheets indeed were scanned pink sheets that they had actually produced. Somehow, one of them raised questions about an indication on one of the pink sheets that there were 3 rejected ballot papers. And the NDC side said, well, if the presiding officer is raising questions about some figure on the scanned pink sheet, then they will not accept the inclusion of that pink sheet. And so that led to some scuffle, and the police decided to postpone the completion of the exercise to a future date. So as we speak, 3 polling stations' pink sheet results have not been included. The pink sheets are scanned because both sides and the Electoral Commission don't have the original pink sheets. The results of the 3 polling stations put together can swing the elections in favor of either side. The results of the 3 can swing the election in favor of either side. NDC could win or MPP could win. So it is crucial to take a decision on the 3 polling stations. They fixed a date according to the regional commander. He prepared his men to go and then supervise so the electoral commission will take a decision on the 3 and decide whether they are including them or not. But received a call from head office asking him to hold on because there was some engagement going on at a higher level. They didn't tell him at what level. So the police have always been ready to provide protection to anybody who is responsible for putting together or collating the results. There's supposed to be some dialogue going on. So I need a little more time because I want to go to the Electoral Commission, meet them and find out exactly what is holding them. Now, there was another allegation that the parliamentary candidate of Auma North was attacked. I don't want to use this word in the chamber. For the PC of the NPP was attacked. So when I inquired from the regional police command, he said that there was no such attack on the parliamentary candidate of the NPP in Auma North. In my presence, he placed calls to the regional crime officer who said he didn't receive any such report. They called the district crime officer, he said he didn't receive any report. We asked him to check from all the police stations within that constituency to see if such a report was made to any of the stations, and it turned out that there was no such report of an attack on the parliamentary candidate of the NPP in Auma North. That is what I know for now, and I have conveyed the message to the minority chief whip, and that is what he wants me to report to the House. I promise you that I'll go into the matter, and that is why I am going into the matter. Just to say that this House, as you know, has no mandate to go into electoral matters. This House has no mandate to go into electoral matters. All I can do is to try to ascertain the facts and report to you what the facts are. If the matter relates to the conduct of the police, then we could have invited the Interior Minister to, answer questions why the police is not complying with a court order to provide protection. But it is not the police. The police are ready at all times to provide protection. Indeed, the police co-opted the prison service, the fire service, the immigration service, all the services, they mobilized them in order to have the necessary troops to be able to provide whatever protection is needed. And so the police have done their work. The only issue is that 3 outstanding polling stations, and there's some dialogue going on. Let's just give them some time and see how the Electoral Commission resolves the matter. That basically is what I have for the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Leader. Yes.
Speaker, not to belabor the point, safe to say that, let me appreciate the interventions of the Leader of the House and also add that as a suggestion, probably it will be appropriate if the leader works hand in hand with the minority leader. And also to appreciate that, yes, indeed, our locus in this matter, in terms of law, is limited. However, it's to show leadership. And colleagues, we have to understand that what has happened at Ablekuma can happen to any of us. They are simply shepherding the process and to ensure that what is right is executed eventually. In conclusion, I think Ablekuma, there are lessons that can be drawn from. Lessons that can genuinely be drawn from Domi Kwabenya. where on a number of the polling stations, pink sheets that were destroyed, the Electoral Commission used scanned copies. These are lessons that leadership can help, not to dictate to the EC, but also guide, so that eventually the EC can navigate and get these matters resolved. But just to commend my leader and to plead with him to carry the minority leader along this path of ensuring that we have a good guidance and navigate properly. So I thank you for the indulgence. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much. Other people. Honorable members, let me invite you to page 2. Page 2, item listed 7, presentation of papers. So let me invite the chairman of the appointment committee to present the report of the 8 report? Very well.
Yeah.
8th report of the Appointments Committee on His Excellency the President's nominations for appointments as ministers.
Honorable members, the report has been duly presented. They are to be distributed to honorable members. Are we taking the motion of report 8 or report 7?
Right, Honorable Speaker, because we are taking it out of 10, we have to take motion 11 now.
Okay. So, honorable members, let's turn to page 3. Page 3.
Right, Honorable Speaker, motion numbered 10 before 11. The procedural motion.
Yes, I'm coming. So let's turn to page 3, item listed 10. Item listed 10, chairman of the committee.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that notwithstanding the provisions of Order 1041 of the standing orders, which requires that a motion shall not be debated until at least 2 sitting days have elapsed. After the notice to move the motion is given, the motion for the adoption of the 8th report of the Appointment Committee on His Excellency the President's nomination for appointment as ministers may be moved today. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Honorable members, the motion has been moved. Yes, honorable member for.
Mr. Speaker, it's Wager Bawi.
Wager Bawi. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion, save that I've indicated to the Honorable Chair that I have found very well. Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Honorable members, the motion listed 10 has been moved and it has been seconded. This is just for procedural motion, so I'll go ahead and put the question. All those in favor of the motion say aye. All those against say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The procedural motion is hereby adopted. Yes. So, Chairman, let's take the substantive one. Motion 11.
Right, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move that this Honorable House adopt the 8th report of the Appointment Committee on His Excellency the President's nomination for appointment as ministers. Right Honorable Speaker, in doing so, I present the committee's report. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee's report captured the vetting of Honorable Emmanuel Kojo Ajekum, Honorable Linda Obiniwa Akwele Oklu, and Mr. Kenneth Gilbert Ajay. Mr. Speaker, with your leave, may I correct page 10, paragraph 4.29, second line of the report. Honorable Speaker, instead of Honorable Alfred Oko Vanderpoy, it should read Honorable Nilante Vanderpoy. And right Honorable Speaker, wherever you see minister, deputy should precede the minister.
Come again.
Right Honorable Speaker, the name Honorable Alfred Oko Vanderpoy, the former minister responsible, should be Honorable Nilante Vanderpoy.
Yes, that correction has been made.
Very well. Right Honorable Speaker, Nilante Vanderpoy was deputy minister. So the consequential amendment should be made to the effect that wherever you see minister in this paragraph referring to Nilante Vanderpoy, deputy should precede the minister. So there should be insertion of the word deputy before minister.
Well.
Right Honorable Speaker, as usual, questions were posed to the above-mentioned nominees. They provided exhaustive answers to the questions. The report has captured all the respective questions and answers posed to the designated ministers in relation to their respective ministries. They've answered them. It's captured in the report. I therefore urge the Hansa Department to capture the entire report as having been read. As I proceed to read the conclusion. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, the committee, in accordance with Article 78(1) of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and Standing Order 217, considered the nominations submitted by His Excellency the President. After thorough deliberations, the committee finds the nominees competent, knowledgeable, and well-suited for their respective ministerial roles. The committee therefore recommends to the House by consensus the adoption of its report and the approval of the nomination of Honorable Emmanuel Kojo Ajekum, Minister of State for Special Initiatives, Honorable Linda Obiniwa Akwele Oklu as Minister for Greater Accra Region, and Mr. Kenneth Gilbert Ajay as Minister for Works and Housing and Water Resources. Right Honorable Speaker, I therefore urge upon the House to adopt the committee's report and accordingly, by the same spirit of unanimity, approve the President's nominees. Right Honorable Speaker, I so submit. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, honorable members, the motion has been moved. Yes. Honorable member for Empraeso.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I rise to second the motion ably moved by the chairman of the Appointments Committee of this August House. Mr. Speaker, we indeed monitored proceedings of the Appointments Committee, and in particular, the vetting of my good friend Emmanuel Kojo Ejekum, who His Excellency the President has nominated him to be the Minister of State in charge of special initiatives. Indeed, if you listen to what the gentleman said at his vetting, it tends to me that Kojo Ejekum will be more of a utility player in this government, because his assignment spans through several ministries. He will be working with the Minister for Railways, Minister in charge for Railways Development, and his focus is on railway development in urban and rural areas. Mr. Speaker, that has been one of the key challenges that we have faced as a people. I mean, I have had accident on this Accra and Sawam stretch, so heading to Kumasi. And if we had a reliable railway system that would transport people from Accra to Kumasi, from Kumasi to Tamale, I think that is going to ease a lot of pressure on our roads, and it's going to help transport not only persons but goods. So I was impressed with his response when it came to issues of railway development in urban and rural areas. He's also looking at the labor export program. Of course, that will be overlapping with issues with the Ministry of Labor. Is looking at green transition policy. And under this government, we have seen the president appoint somebody responsible for green transition. We have seen the president appoint somebody responsible for environment. So I was wondering what the Minister for Special Initiatives will be doing in the areas of green transition. But we live to see, and we wish him all the best. Mr. Speaker, he also talked about infrastructure development for electric vehicles. This is something that is new to our system. I've seen offices now develop ports for electric charging for vehicles and all of that. And it's one area where I am hoping and urging that the president of the day, the president of Ghana, looks at. But Mr. Speaker, it's instructive to also appreciate that the person involved, Emmanuel Kojo Ejekum, is a diligent man. Having served with him on the Works and Housing Committee of this August House, I developed a good working relationship with him, and I believe that if he is to take that attitude to that ministry, it's indeed going to help him, and it's indeed going to help his ministry, and indeed going to help the state. Mr. Speaker, I wish him well in that area. I listened to our sister Linda Obiniwa Akwele Oklu. Of course, she tends to be the minister designate who spent the least time with the committee. And it goes to affirm commitment, it goes to affirm diligence in this house. Of course, we monitor each other. And when you come and you spend 10 hours with the committee, it tells you what the Ghanaians will say, Osuka Obany. So clearly, the minister's short time clearly indicates diligence in this house, and that at the committee level, they saw virtually nothing wrong with that. But I would urge to look at issues of sanitation. Mr. Speaker, I have lived my entire life in the capital of Accra, and one of the well, I have lived in a community called Adedenko, British Accra. Mr. Speaker, one of the challenges we have had in central Accra has been issues of sanitation. I mean, issues of disposing of waste has been a headache. And I'm praying that as a minister for Greater Accra, minister responsible for the Greater Accra, the capital of Ghana, she does a lot more to improve on issues of sanitation. Mr. Speaker, for Mr. Kenneth Gilbert Ejay, the Minister Designate for Works, Housing and Water Resources, he did excellently well when he appeared before the committee. Mr. Speaker, the role of the Minister for Works and Housing and some of the challenges that they face. Mr. Speaker, I'm particularly interested in issues of what we call sun winning. In fact, that has been a challenge in this country, and how the state is addressing these challenges. Of course, along the coastal lines, we have had challenges. At a point, members of the Works and Housing Committee had to travel to Keta. We had to go to Aflao, just to experience for ourselves the difficulties that our compatriots face in these communities. But I would urge the minister, if it's approved by this House, to consider looking into some of the costs associated with that area. I mean, it's important for him to review and see if the mega resources that will be allocated to him can do more.
So relief agencies are also on standby. Once the security situation based on an assessment improves, then humanitarian organizations would go in and help ease the burden on the people.